is our executive chef, and he's going to be answering your questions about dining services. And if yesterday's meeting in Woodland Skies was any indication, I think you have a lot of questions for Michael.
I think so.
And you have his ear this morning, so make those phone calls, 703-923-4639. And be sure you call in and ask him your questions, making your comments. He and I have been talking a little bit before the show, and I think you'll find there's a lot of excitement going on in the dining services right now.
Absolutely.
Michael, welcome.
Thank you. Well, first I want to welcome aboard, and all of you will meet him through his, walking around the community. Is Eli Ayub, our new director of dining service, started last week, and he's going into his second week, and he was at Woodland Skies yesterday for the town hall, and he and I are going to be attending the resident dining council meeting today. So when you see Eli, welcome him aboard, and please ask him any questions that you have, and he's very knowledgeable, comes from this type of field in the hospitality, so he has a lot of knowledge to offer and some great ideas.
Right.
You and I, we were talking about what's going on, and I think one thing we talked about, and you touched on, is lunch.
Right.
And we were talking about lunch, and sometimes lunch is the forgotten child.
We feel that way.
In the community, and I like hearing these comments and the conversations, because it gives us ideas and gives us, opens us up to, okay, maybe, we're so busy going about, the day and
Right.
making sure that the service goes well that, maybe bring in a theme. I'm not going to write this down in concrete, but maybe bring in a theme to lunch, or if we're doing an ice cream bar, maybe opening it an hour early for those that are having lunch. We've made some changes in the cafe as well, and I think some of the residents have appreciated that. And the changes in the cafe we've done also at dinner. We wanted to bring more of the, as much as we can, signature program to the cafe. So you'll see 4 nights a week we do a carving station. We're doing prime rib on Friday. So, I think we've increased the cafe meals. I was talking with Marisi, who's the general manager over there, last week, I think by 150 meals in a week.
Really?
Yes. So obviously we're doing something right over there. We're doing the carving. And we were talking about here earlier about the fresh fish, and they love the salmon, but we brought in sword this week and last week, and that was to, variety and more options. Now, could we go back to salmon? Absolutely, but it also gave us the opportunity that now we could run salmon as a hot entree, still have the sword, and now you have 2 options of seafood in the cafe. You get fresh grilled sword, you have the multiple choices of sauces or toppings to go with it, same with the chicken. So we wanted to make it more, that, so you have that part of the signature program incorporated into the cafe. And, it's a work in progress, and we talked about expanding, and, we want, it's also, and the residents have to get acclimated, so do our culinary teams and our dining teams. So as things progress further and we get comfortable, we're going to look at, well, what options can we start putting in? The town hall, we had a very good town hall. I think there was a lot of good questions asked and a lot of comments from the residents, and these help us in our development. It is your community, it is your dining room. And you and I have talked, and I said, I don't know what I don't know. So
Right.
when I tell residents, you'll see me walking around, good, bad, and different. Tell me, please. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I've been doing this long enough. I'm not going to go hide in a corner and cry or run into my office. No, we can't change what we don't know.
Right.
Now, what's coming up, we are changing the menu starting the 1st of the month, and we're looking at changing 6 items on the current menu. And how we do this is we run a report called a menu mix report, and it gives us all the tallies of everything we served in each dining room for a month. So obviously, filet's number 1, so I dare not take that off the menu. But if we see a certain entree is just not selling right, selling enough of, well, maybe we'll pull that off and we'll replace it with another similar, you and I talked earlier, if we take a seafood off, we're going to replace it with a seafood. If we take a chicken off, we're going to replace it with chicken. We want to keep that balance. We don't want a menu that's too heavy in chicken or too heavy in seafood or too heavy in beef. We want to have, variety and options available. So I think with this change, plus, and we started the special changes in Woodland Skies, and they're going to start in Fireside, and you're going to see that there's going to be 2 specials every week, plus the Friday fish we're bringing back. It was such a great hit with the residents when we did it. We said, why not bring it back? We've done it before. It's nothing new to us.
Right.
So when you incorporate 3 specials a week, which is 12, plus the 6 menu changes in a month, that's 18 changes. Talking about 60% of the menu that 25% of the actual menu, plus you're adding another 12 options throughout the month. So we want to give that variety. And if we run a special and we say, wow, Chef Mark here does his curry. Residents love it. Is it a possibility of putting it on the menu? Sure, maybe. If the residents, if we see the feedback from that, it's a great way to say, well, let's run this as a special. If it's received well, maybe we can put it on the menu. So the residents are part of that process. Everything is done by, when we come up with, well, what ice creams and what desserts, we look at what we've purchased. Purchases are based off of consumption. So if I buy 1 tub of, blueberry cheesecake ice cream in a month, or if I buy 40 tubs of Muddy Sneakers, which one do you think is going to be on the ice cream menu?
Exactly.
So we are looking at putting some changes in the dessert menu. Obviously, we're through the winter, the season with the holiday, the sweet potato pies, and not saying that they'll be gone completely, but there'll be opportunities to put them in as specials. But looking at, let's take a few items off, let's make some changes, for the dessert menu. I think the residents would appreciate that. So a lot of things going on. We do have a evening with the chef coming up in the 3rd week of February, and more announcement will come with that. And that we'll have also a forum wine dinner coming up in March, and that'll be in the bistro. So a lot of things going on in dining. And I think, with the feedback that we're hearing from the residents, it's good. It keeps us grounded. It makes us, keep on top of what the residents want.
We're not hearing this phone ring. Come on, let's do
I think everybody asked our questions yesterday.
Maybe so,
It was good. We had everybody,
there was a big crowd there.
I think Corey did a phenomenal job running there, and Chef Mark was there, and I was there, and Eli was there, Ben was there, and Brian was there, and we had some of the GMs and some of the directors from other departments there, and Diane Cook, who's our regional, was also there. So, there was a lot of people in attendance, and it was good for everybody to hear the information. I think it's good. You want to know what's on your mind.
Exactly.
And even I know some people are shy and do not want to speak in large groups. So the comment cards, and yes, we do read the comment cards.
Yes, that's one thing I wanted to mention, because I hear people, I'll use the word griping about these things, and I say, well, did you write a comment card? Oh, no. Well, that's what the comment cards are for. And if you like something real well, make a comment.
Right. If you didn't like it, let us know. If
Yes.
something was, why can't we have this? Or, this wasn't to my liking. I know I use it a lot. I don't know what I don't know. And if, you'll see the chefs walking through, you'll see, I know in Woodland Skies, I know in all the dining rooms, you see the managers walk. That's what they're there for. They want to hear what you have to say. So, please let them know. As corny as it sounds, we're here, for the residents.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it is the residents' satisfaction.
Right.
And they tell a chef, you're only as good as your last meal.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
We try to make every meal as enjoyable, and we do 2,200 around meals a day. Am I going to satisfy every single one of those people? No.
Right.
But it helps with the feedback and the comments, and
It does.
and the positive as well as negative. I will sit down at a table and talk to residents during a meal. I have no problem. Like I said, you see me in the hallway, you see me in the lobby, in the dining room. in the cafe, wherever you see me, and you have something to say, my office is down in dining admin. We're in town center. Again, we're across from the medical center. If I'm in there, if you walk in, Phyllis will let you know if I'm in or not. I'm always moving around. But, some of the residents, they have my email. I tell them to, if you have a question, to email me. And I usually try to get back to you, within, 2 days. Another thing that's going to be coming up, I'm going to be setting a date. I do a My Nutrition class for the My Nutrition website. And it's really good for a lot of the newer residents and just residents who want to learn more about what we offer and the nutritional information. And I do a class on that. It's about a 2-hour class, 2.5 hours. And we go over the menu, we talk about how we build it and the nutritional information, and we pull up My Nutrition and how you can utilize it and how you can use it to, select your meal for the day. Or
Oh, we have a call coming in. Good morning, you're on Channel 6.
Good morning. It sounds like you need a call coming in. So I thought I would give you one. It may sound very petty, but anyway, I'll try. With the salads that you get in Jefferson, I'm not quite sure about Woodland Skies because I don't eat over there. But it seems an obsession with having red onion. And they're always the strongest, and very often I have to remove mine from the salad. It's just too strong. And at one time I used to call way back about sweet onions, and for a while it worked and they introduced sweet onions. But I haven't seen sweet onions in the salad available for a long, long time. Now, probably they're the cheapest, but also the sweet onions are probably more expensive, but it would be so nice to have a change. Thank you for taking my call.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and nothing is based off of, we're not going to buy one product over another because of cost. If that was the case, we wouldn't offer filet mignon and crab cakes and scallops and shrimp every day, and think about that. We're offering filet mignon every single day. We're doing prime rib in the cafe. Excuse me. So it's not a cost decision.
But she's right, those onions are so hot. that
Are they
take
the red onions?
They take the top of your head off.
Well, and that's something, like I said, good, something to know. And that's something I can bring up to the culinary team and the management team over in Jefferson and say, listen, or maybe we offer both. Maybe there are some people who like the red onions and some who like the sweet onions. So, or maybe we can just rotate them. Now, she said they were in the salad. We could also make it that maybe they're on the side, so they're not in the salad. So those who want them, because we're talking about the Jefferson where it's the salad bar. So it's pretty much make your own. So we could probably put the red onions, we can either put them to the side. Sweet onions, actually the sweet onions are less expensive, to be honest. So it's not a cost issue. So yeah, that's something like that, that's an easy fix,
Yeah.
And nothing to me is petty. We all have our own prerogative and we all have our own taste and likes.
Right.
Now are we going to satisfy every single resident every day? No.
It's like we were talking earlier, maybe we need to say, well, this is a southern green beans and these are northern
Right.
green
we
beans.
we talked about the green beans and a portion of our resident population love southern green beans, love them cooked. When I say cooked, I'm talking about just put them on the stove and forget about
Mushy.
them. And some of our residents will look at them and say, you destroyed them.
Yes.
And I've seen where residents have been at the same table. No, I love them this way.
Right.
Oh, you've cooked the heck out of them, So, we try to, work with everyone's taste and everyone's likes.
I know there were some of us who were from the Southwest who really enjoyed the fried okra recently.
Good. And, and we, things like that. If you put on a comment card, love the okra, bring it back. Or we'd like to see it more often. And like I said, you're right. We do look at the comment cards. I was talking to a resident. They said, I love Russian dressing. I said, okay. And I said, it's not on the menu. And I said, well, when we looked at the salad dressings, we looked at, again, purchases, and that's off of consumption. So I said, well, I'll look at it, but, I'm not going to just keep adding and adding, because then you'll come into the dining room and you'll have a menu that's 10 pages long,
Right.
and it'll take you an hour just to read it before you even order. So, and remember, these menus were built using the information we got from the focus group, which was attended by residents. So this was not an edict that was sent down by corporate, like, here's your menu, this is what you got to sell. Mm-hmm. That's as far from, the truth as possible. We had focus groups here back in the summer, and I think late spring, and the residents attended them, and all that information was gathered, compiled, and then we looked at also menus from the last 6 months of what sold and what didn't. We compiled this information together. That's how we came up with, the menus. Now, are some items not winners? Yeah, but we've learned that, and we've moved on. We're going to make some changes, and you'll see them starting in the beginning of February. And then, again, the beginning of each month, kind of like the dessert menu. Because I think our residents they like structure. So if we change, they know every first of the month there's a new dessert menu. Oh, okay, we have new desserts. Great. And I think our dessert menu's been received very well.
The lunch crowd has one complaint at Woodland Skies.
And what is that?
The dessert menu is not available for the lunch menu.
Okay, well, and that's something
And
I'll bring up with...
we've been told why, but we still don't like it.
And that's something that I can also, again, talk to, Corey and Chef Mark and their team and see if maybe we can come to a happy median, and see what we can do.
They still leave that dessert card on the table. We keep telling them they should take that off of there.
Torture, huh? But, maybe we can come to a happy median on that part. But, with the menu, we'd like to keep it, I hate to use the word regiment, but if we know that, okay, the first of the month there's going to be a new menu, then, everybody has, and you have to understand, when we change a menu, there's a lot behind the scenes. And saying behind the scenes is one thing I want to really, really promote with all of our residents. Mm-hmm. Take the tour during service. If you have a 15 or 20-minute wait before dinner, go behind the scenes. Go behind those doors and see what's going on during service. Or after dinner, if you have 10 minutes, tell a manager you'd like to take the tour. And it opens up your eyes, I'm telling you. When you see in action what goes on to prepare that meal, I think everybody has a better understanding of,
I'm sure they do.
Wow, I really didn't know all this went into preparing my meal.
Right.
There's a lot of, it's like a symphony. Mm-hmm. It's like, I say the chef's like the coach of a team, because you have a lot of moving parts. You do. Besides your utility, doing everything behind you with, the dishes and all that, and the different cooks and the different areas. There's a lot that, and I recommend everybody take advantage of that.
Is there any way you can explain it?
I can explain. I mean, you'll see the screens with all the menus, and you see how full the screens are. Mm-hmm. You'll see the action on the line, the sauté, the flat top, the grill.
Here we go. Good morning. You're on Channel 6.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, it's me again, Michael, about the red onion.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you were assuming that I meant available in the salad bar. I should have clarified that I was referring to carry out when you order a house salad.
Okay.
So I'm sorry you misinterpreted.
No, that's fine.
I
that's
didn't
fine.
clarify.
And that's something that we can look into and probably has an easy fix.
Okay. All right.
No more red onions on carry-out salad.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. But, the goings-on of a kitchen, and, we see everything on TV, and you can see all the cooking shows you want, but walk in there and, you'll see the flames coming up from the sauté pans, and you'll see them working the grill or the steamer, or, cutting this or slicing that, or, making the sauce in the pan, putting the stuff in the window, and putting the plates up in the window, and the chef garnishing everything and putting it on the tray. Communication he has to have with the runners, and this goes here, and you're like the expo. The chef on expo is like a conductor, telling the culinarians on the line, "I need this. You're working that. You're working that." The chefs that are on backup, this is what I need. The runners, where to take everything. Letting utility know I'm going to need plates. I'm going to need so. You have a better appreciation of what's going on, and you see it happening. So I think, wow, I really didn't know that much work and many people were involved.
So it's really no wonder that once in a while something comes out with the wrong thing on it, or
we
missing something.
We try to be, as correct as possible, but human error is human error, and it's going to happen. And understand we're doing, and we'll talk about Woodland because we're closest to this dining room. We're doing 300, near that, 330, 350 meals. And when you include carryout, probably 350 meals in about 3 hours. I dare anybody to go to any restaurant around here and see if they do that. You can walk into Mike's, and I'll give you an example. I was talking to the general manager. I take my wife to Mike's every now and then if I get out late from work or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I see you're fascinated with the kitchen." I said, "Well, I'm executive chef over," and we started talking, and there are 100 and about 60 seats. They have 2 kitchens, upstairs and downstairs, plus a prep kitchen. And they probably, they'll do a few hundred meals, but their dinner service, understand, ours goes from 4:30 to 6:45. A restaurant's dinner service can start at 4 o'clock and go on the weekends till 10 o'clock.
Right.
Say 9 o'clock for, so we're talking 5 hours. So almost double what we're doing. And time-wise, but as far as the concentration of meals, we're way more. So I think, we need to give credit to what we do every day, and I think the servers in the front of the house and the front of the house management team do a phenomenal job, and the culinary staff. That's why I say, take the tour, because I think you'll have a better appreciation of, wow, I really didn't. Are there going to be mistakes? There's mistakes in every area of the community that happen every now and then. There's human errors, or maybe a resident said, "Oh, I meant to order." Server, it could happen anywhere along the journey. It happens, but we'd like to hope that if there is a mistake, that the resident lets the server know so that we can correct it and bring out the correct dish.
Sure.
And I know some residents like, I'm not going to bother them. I don't want to seem like a pain. No, you pay good money to live here. If something comes out wrong, let your server know or let the manager know so they can correct it as quick as possible. If you ordered salmon, maybe you ordered with bourbon and it came out with Cajun. Let them know. We'll fix it for you. That's what we're here for. So, you're not being a bother. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we're here, for the residents. As corny as it sounds, but it's your home. We're coming into your home.
I think it's interesting the way you have the dining room set, where you have a different ambiance in each one, and people can kind of decide what kind of place they want to eat in.
Well, I think every night you have 4 choices. You have a
Yes, you
cafe,
do.
and I think the cafe, like I said, we brought more signature into it. We have Jefferson, where we were talking to some of the people here that, some people, we said our residents are very different in each group. Jefferson, you want to go in, you want to get your food, you want to eat, you want to go, maybe you have something to do, or you're visual. I want to see what I'm going to eat. The Woodland Skies, I want a more formal setting. I don't want to have to get up.
We'll sit and relax.
Right. And Fireside is more comfort, more, they may have, now with Signature we don't have as many action stations, but, they have, more relaxed. So, and we talked about the cafe. So there are 4 different venues. Now I know some of our residents, for mobility purposes, don't like to travel, but I think we offer with the shuttles, and, you can walk indoors. There's really, it's not like you're walking miles. So,
Right.
And I tell everybody, try them all. Now you may have your favorites, and I'd say 80% of our residents stick to one particular venue, because either they have their groups of friends that dine there, they enjoy the staff, they have certain servers that they've gotten to know, the locale, just the comfort that they're comfortable coming there. It's close to proximity to where they live. So, and I'd say 20, maybe 25% do travel around. But yeah, try it out, especially with the new program. And, you when you think about it, you have, let's say you have 25 items on the Fireside and the Woodland menu. Take away the duplicates. So say between the 2 menus you have 40 items, 45 items.
Right.
Now you're going to throw in the cafe. Now you're going to throw in the Jefferson. So every night you have entree-wise, probably close to 55, 60.
Right.
So I find it hard when there's really nothing I like. I'm like, there's so many choices, you know, and with the action stations and the carving stations, you know, and something was brought up about we missed the theme nights. So we said, okay, you know, that's something that, you know, we're going to look into and start working as a team together. We have a manager meeting today that we'll bring that up. And again, like you mentioned about the lunch, feeling like we're the forgotten child here.
Right.
You know, so okay, that and honestly, I never really thought about it. So, you know, when you bring that up to us and let us know, now we have a better understanding. So.
One thing came up the other day, just talking with someone, was how well the menu fits for a vegetarian. And I've heard some say they have a little trouble getting a vegetarian meal, and I have others who said I have no problem at all.
Well, then that was a great question asked yesterday, and we said, well, if you want, you know, because when you think about it, there's 6 sides, 6 vegetable sides. So if you say, well, you know, can I just get a vegetable plate? Absolutely. You know,
now my granddaughter's a vegetarian, and she comes and eats with me 2 or 3 times a month, and she has no problem at all.
And you know,
she'll get a pasta and 2 or 3 vegetables.
Well, you can get things like the shrimp tortellini. Get it without the shrimp. Or you can get in Fireside the stir fry. We'll get it without the shrimp. It's not bad with, you know, the stir fried vegetables, the brown rice and the sauce, pasta primavera. Any of the pastas, if you didn't want the protein with it, you can absolutely you can do that.
She gets the pasta with the pesto sauce.
That is over here with the cheese tortellinis. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to say, listen, can I just get a plate of some vegetables? You know, can I get, say, carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, and green beans?
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
You know, let your server know. There should be no reason why you shouldn't get that. And we've talked about, well, maybe we can work on a vegetable plate. You know, I even asked someone, well, what about like a crudité? If I had, you know, with raw vegetables, say you had carrots and celery and broccoli and peppers and maybe some grape tomatoes and maybe a ranch dipping sauce. They're like, ooh. You know, so that's something we're looking at. You know, will it happen today or tomorrow? No, but these are things that we're looking at, and it's all from feedback.
Okay, we have 1 minute left.
Okay. What question do you have?
I have no question at all.
Okay. No, again, you know, I like these call-in shows. I wish we had more calls in, but I think we received a lot of good feedback, hard questions also, you know, which is good, keeps us on our toes. But again, you know, I tell all the residents out there, you know, if you have something to say, don't be shy. There's many ways you can communicate. You can verbally talk to any one of us. You can do the comment cards. If you want my email, I'll give my email out right now.
Okay.
It's michael.ritt, R-I-T-T, @erickson.com.
Simple
now,
enough.
Watch, I'm going to get about 100 emails today.
You may.
I may have just opened, but no, if you need to reach me, I'm down at the dining admin office, which is across from the medical center in town center. So, you know, like I said, you know, we're here for you.
That's right. And don't forget the comment cards.
Absolutely. And they are read. Trust me, every single one of them.
Very good.
We have a spreadsheet that we put them on.
Very good. Okay.
So,
thank you so much,
Thank you so
Michael.
much. I enjoyed it.
Good. Good.
All right.